Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining I guess it's our first official webinar for ProTeam. We've had a couple webinars in the past. I know I recognize some of your faces here from those, and also some other webinars that we've done just around. So thank you again for joining. I hope that this is going to be another informative, fun hour of your life. What I promise, though, is that the time that you're spending with us, we are going to make sure that it's worth it, and we give you some things to take away from you immediately. So this is GovDash 101. Before we get started, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I recognize a lot of names here, but not everybody. And so my name is Meryl Angelicola. I'm the vice president of GovDash, the founder of Proposal Team, which is a nonprofit that provides free training to folks that want to get into the GovCon and proposal industry. But I also have 20 years of GovCon experience, most importantly. So I am a GovCon super fan through and through. I've grown up in the industry, everything from capture to proposals to delivery, you name it. And I've done it and I've loved it. And speaking of loving GovCon, when I say that I've spent half my life in the industry, it literally means half my life. So I will be 40 next year, and I started when I was 19. So I am like definitely on that path. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cold, but a little bit about my story because it's important and it speaks to why I'm here. When I started in GovCon, I didn't know GovCon existed. So like many of us, I accidentally found it. I applied for a job and it was across the country and I was 19. So all I knew is I wanted to move to Colorado, but they happened to sell services to the federal government. At the time, it was a recruitment job. So I just thought I was going to be recruiting. Very soon after I started, like 2 weeks after I started, my boss went out of town. We were in the middle of a proposal. We were a small company. It was like me and the boss and her husband. And so therefore, I got to work with our teaming partner. And they bid me as key personnel because they didn't have her resume handy. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Like, spoiler alert, we won the contract. And it was great because I got to not only learn how to submit a proposal, write a proposal, but then also manage a contract on site at a government facility. So it was a fast track in learning how all of the pieces come together in GovCon. And then, of course, opportunities present themselves. You get to meet people, and that's the heart of capture. So what that taught me was that it's a life cycle, right? So we see a lot of silos across GovCon and business development, but really at the heart of it, it is one cycle and one process feeds the next. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's the foundations with which GovDash is built upon, and it's why I really believe in it and what makes it different. Excuse me. So today, our agenda is pretty clear. I mentioned that I always want to make sure that you leave with something, more than what you entered this with, right? And I promise I will deliver on that today. Many of you are here as GovDash customers. So the things that I'm going to show you are going to be tools and tricks that you can utilize right away in your day-to-day workload to help alleviate some of that manual process and make things go faster, give you your time back. Many of you are just getting to know GovDash. Maybe this is your first exposure to it, and that's okay too. What you will leave with is an understanding of one, what makes GovDash different, but this is not a sales pitch. What I'm hoping that you come away with is an understanding of what it looks like to onboard AI as a member of your team versus buying an AI tool for your team members to use. Whatever you use, whatever tool you choose, whether it's GovDash or not, this is the most important part, right? And I say I love GovCon. One of the reasons I came to GovDash is because I didn't find what I was looking for when these AI tools were first being started in the market. And I wanted something different for our industry, like something better, right? I wanted something that was not just another chatbot that any team member could use, but it kept making, the silos worse. I wanted something that the whole team could use that would help unify our processes and our data. That did not exist. And GovDash gave me the opportunity to partner with them early on and the founders to build and help shape what I was dreaming of, right? And so that is at the core what makes GovDash different. I'll talk about it more as we go on. But for those of you that are new to GovDash, this is what I hope you come away with, is when you're evaluating tools, really think of it as, is this going to be something that helps to unify my team, or is it just another tool that I'm giving to each individual member of my team? And that is really important, and I'll help you understand why here in a little bit. And then for those of you, again, who are GovDash customers, even if you're not a GovDash customer, this will be pretty cool. I'm going to show you how I accomplish what used to take me quite literally 20 hours of manual work, how I'm able to do these things in 45 minutes with GovDash. These are my favorite workflow hacks to make all those time-consuming tasks that are very necessary, but not necessarily strategic, so much easier, so that I get my time back, and I can contribute that more to strategy and solutioning, meeting people, building relationships, those things that move the needle. As you are learning these things, as we give you these two, what we call them, gifts, or outcomes that I'm going to give to you and help educate and help you understand more, what I want you to know is you're going to come away with a lot more questions than answers, because this is a new way of working. It is the art of what's possible, right? And so by nature of that, and maybe things you haven't thought about before, I want it to open up your mind and to think, wow, maybe this could be something that could be useful for me. I have not always been an AI super fan, right? It scared me at the beginning. I like the way that we work in GovCon now. It's tried and true. There are many reasons for the ways that we do things, from partnering to compliance to having a shared language to being driven by the government. We are not coming in and trying to change those workflows because we respect them, right? And I would get mad at us if we did. But there are ways, I think, that we can help give us our time back. Things that have historically just taken forever, we haven't been able to get around that. There is some room for improvement there, and that's what I'm going to show you today. As you have questions, though, you're going to put them in the chat in QA. We've got our ProTeam standing by. If we have time to pause throughout to answer them, we will, but they're going to be answering them in real time. In addition to that, we're going to be sending out a summary of QA at the end, so that if you don't see your questions answered, you will see all the questions and answers, very much like government style. So we'll get you guys a document. And the folks that you'll be chatting with are the ProTeam. Everyone always asks me what I do at GovDash. I do a lot of things. One of the things I do is help develop product. I help educate the market. But my favorite thing that I do is manage the ProTeam. And this is a team of former proposal managers, capture managers. They have firsthand experience with the pain points that you guys are experiencing every day. They're also GovDash experts. Many of them came through my nonprofit, and they are the folks that you work with throughout onboarding, account management, and help desk every day. When you're a GovDash customer, they're going to be interacting with you guys in the chat as well. All right. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. What is GovDash? GovDash is, at its core, in most simple terms, an operating system for GovCon BD teams. That being said, one, I don't think we've ever had in the history of GovCon a full operating system for BD teams that spans, capture, proposal, and delivery. At least I've never seen one. We've always hacked it together in SharePoint with different, point solutions, had a million logins. So this in and of itself is different. But in addition to that, you have never seen anything like what I'm about to show you. Many of you have probably taken AI demos. You may have used ChatGPT or another tool. Those tools are valuable and they serve a purpose. They're different than what GovDash does, right? So what we do is not just provide a point solution, a tool for your BD team, but we actually onboard AI onto your BD team as a member of the team, so that no matter what comfort level your team has with AI, we're able to all work from the same sheet of music, and AI can help your team go towards winning more, right? You're not restricted to just one person that knows how to use AI well. And the big difference here is that we've baked best practices into every step of our process in GovDash and our tool. Excuse me. So at GovDash, the biggest thing that you will hear us say, and the thing that we have built around, is that the goal is to win the contract, not just to submit the proposal. This seems like it would be straightforward, right? And it is, but I have been guilty of this in the past, getting lost in the shuffle of the proposal, and forgetting that at the end of the proposal is a contract, right? So submission feels great. You're working towards that goal, but you got to submit with the win in mind. It is imperative that if you are putting resources towards something, your time, your money, um, all of that is critical because you only have so much time and you can only bid on so many things. So winning has to be at the forefront, right, of your minds. You have to pick opportunities that you have the best chance of winning, and then do the things that you need to do to get closest to winning, and make sure your P-win is the highest possible. In addition to that, the other philosophy we subscribe to is that your biggest advantage are things that AI can't fake, but that it can leverage. So in this day and age, everybody can write a decent sounding proposal. They can even write, like, albeit a generic, right, solution. They can write something that sounds good, even if it's a technical solution. With AI, it's kind of leveled that playing field, which is why your biggest advantage is not the words that you're writing on paper anymore. It is your past performance, it's your relationships, your subject matter expertise, and your intel and understanding. Again, AI cannot fake these things reliably, especially things like past performance and relationships and intel and understanding, even expertise. Like it can do a high level generic level of expertise, but that's not what you need to win and to stand out. So we help you leverage these things. We help you to pinpoint them, organize them, and then we leverage them throughout the process of GovDash, from capture to proposal to delivery. And that is really critical. The third point here is that GovDash does not want to replace proposal teams or capture teams. I am the first one to tell you that that is not possible. And the companies that think that they can full out replace proposal teams, unfortunately, it's going to be a tough lesson to learn, because there's a lot of strategic things that AI can't do, and people still win contracts, right? But what we want to do is help your teams to leverage their time, their limited time, for what is most strategic and what AI can't replicate. And that is exactly what we talked about before, which is like really strong performance on contracts, building relationships, your expertise in developing that, and then getting a better, understanding of your customers and their needs. All that takes time. And when you can automate tedious things, you can then reinvest that time back into what moves the needle. And then finally, the other pillar of our philosophy is that winning proposals aren't created in a vacuum. They're a team sport that starts long before the RFP drops, and they need a lot of things. They need recent and relevant past performance that is positive. They need customer understanding and the right solution. And then they need a compliant and compelling proposal response. So if you just start writing the proposal when the RFP drops, you might get lucky and win. But if you want a consistent win strategy, when your goal is to win the contract, not just submit the proposal, you want to make sure that you are leveraging all three of these components, and it takes an entire team to do that. And at GovDash, we bring those teams together. We're built for cross-functional team collaboration. GovDash enables everybody to contribute to growth with their own special skills, talents, and experience. And it's purpose-built in that way to help you win. Okay, so we're going to talk about this more here in the next coming slides, but we talked about how proposal contracts are not won in a vacuum. They take recent and relevant positive past performance. We accomplish that through our contract cloud. So we are, again, an operating system. We've got 3 main clouds. They take customer understanding and the right solution, which happens during the capture phase, and we have a cloud for the capture team. And then it takes a compliant and compelling response. Again, we have the proposal cloud for AI proposal writing. All of these things, though, are connected, and they build off of one another, and allow your teams to interact throughout the process at every step. And anything that you did in previous step, it allows you to bring that over to the next step. So you're never having to start over. Great. Give me 1 second. Let me grab some tea real fast. All right, that's better. Okay, so just a reminder, if you guys have questions, please put those in the QA. Our team will answer you in real time. And again, we will get those out to everybody via email so that you've got all the questions and answers at your fingertip, as well as this recording. All right, so in addition to helping your team collaborate cross-functionally, we also give you a variety of tools for each of those jobs that is powered by a single source of truth, which is your data. I don't know about you guys, but data in GovCon has always been the biggest pain point for me. I built SharePoint systems for a long time. I've tried to help companies manage their data. It is not easy to do. We generate a ton of data. Our entire workflow and system that we're going to talk about here in the next 20 minutes is fueled by your data and your data library. It is what makes all of this possible. It's what takes AI, technology, which is great and magical on its own, and really turns it into something that can help you win, because it is fueled by those things that AI cannot fake, but that it can leverage. We tame your data and we turn it into a strategic tool. So rather than sitting in SharePoint, you can still connect it to your SharePoint. We integrate with SharePoint. We work really well with it, but you're able to then to move your most critical documents that are critical to your BD and capture and proposal processes into GovDash and turn them into strategic living tools. All of this is done through your data library. This is a new way of storing and working with your data. So it's a little bit like SharePoint, but really the only connection there is that it's where you store and upload documents, or you can connect directly to SharePoint. It looks a lot like SharePoint in that you have a list of contracts, or a list of documents here. You can tag them, you can see where they come from, you can see who uploaded them. You've got a lot of access to good information, which is great. This is how we work in our industry. You can connect them directly to SharePoint, and as they're updated, they're going to update in both places. So it makes that really easy. But what makes it different is that we're not just taking your documents and storing them. We are actually processing them. Every single time you upload something to GovDash, we are analyzing your documents and we are splitting them apart and we are building connections. So anytime you upload partner data, agency strategic plans, technical specs, boilerplate, resumes, playbooks, competitor intel, industry reports, RFPs, PWS documents, anything you can think of, right? We all know the tons of data that we collect. It's not just going there to sit. It is getting tagged behind the scenes. It is becoming searchable. We are creating relationships between these entities here so that you can see your data across the board and how it relates to each other. Your document becomes a magnet, and we're going to be pulling out people, companies, agencies, awards, capabilities. All of those things become their own records in GovDash. And you can then see all of your data within your data library related to a person or a company, an agency, or an award. This is stuff that used to take me many, many hours to do manually, managing data. And now we're able to do that just by you uploading the document itself. One example of this, I've got a screenshot here. And again, we're going to show you the live tool towards the end, but I want to make sure you guys are able to see it in context here. This is just a people record within GovDash. When I open this up, not only we didn't fill any of these things out, it's pulled this from her resume. And then you're going to be able to see her resume here. If she was mentioned in multiple, like if she was bid as key personnel in a proposal, or we had another version of her resume, or she submitted a white paper, or maybe she was even, a contracting officer or contracting officer representative, a while ago on another opportunity. You're going to be able to see where she is mentioned within your data library and in what context. And that's really going to help you to see. One way that I use this is, let's say that I wanted to bid on an opportunity and I knew that company A was the incumbent, right? But I also knew that 6 years ago, I teamed with company A, or somebody teamed with company A. And so I'm going to go into that company record, and I want to see not only information that we have about them from a competitive standpoint, but like, how are they as a partner, right? What was our story to tell? Who do we know there? Because maybe we want to team with them, right? Rather than compete against them. That's just one of many examples, but having your data this way makes it a living thing that anybody on your team can utilize, no matter the use case. All right. I will pause here for a second for questions. Do we have a question, Sam, that you want to highlight? Are we okay for right now? All right. Perfect. Okay. So next we get to Contract Cloud. We talked about data library. If you remember, we go back, contracts, in order to win a contract, you have to have great past performance, relevant and recent. This is probably the second most critical point of friction that I've experienced in organizations: getting access to your history of past performance, getting the proposal team and the capture team access to that, really getting those documents that go beyond the PWS document, and that encapsulate like monthly status reports or deliverables or kudos from the customers. All of these things are so critical, and it's the stuff that proposal managers just wish that they had access to, but it's very rarely easy to get. It is critical for everything that you do across the board in the GovCon lifecycle, and so we start here. This is your foundation for everything. We give you a centralized management place of company past performance data. We help you track details at the task order level. We begin with the contract and PWS, but help you extend beyond. So things, again, like status reports, deliverables, kudos, resumes. We can generate summaries from all of the information you have about a contract. Every time you add something, we're updating your contract summary, so you don't have to do that automatically. And we utilize this data system-wide. You add it once, and then you manage in one location. Your contract team can manage it because they're the experts. But we use it everywhere. So we use it in selecting opportunities to highlight for you that are a match with your past performance, in helping you assess capabilities, which I'm going to show you live today, when you're analyzing an opportunity, when you're writing to your experience or you're substantiating claims with metrics. All of those things are critical, and they come from your past performance. We give you an inventory that looks a lot like what I think you guys are probably used to, where you see your contracts. You can see them in a hierarchy view. We have task order level support, and so you can see those and how they roll up. We also give you a very detailed record where you can see a greater picture, or a more detailed picture of each contract. You're going to see all the documents associated, the cleanse, your capabilities, people, all the things that are critical to your contract are going to be in one place, right? And not only can you see this, but GovDash can see this as well. So it's an easy place for you to manage and make sure that this data is correct, because in GovDash, we protect it and we know, okay, this is your past performance. This is safe for us to talk about as what you've done, rather than what, another company has done, a partner. It is really critical because so many systems, as you guys may have seen, will hallucinate work that you've done, attribute work that you talked about in a proposal because you say team A, B, C, because you're able to talk about your teaming partners, as one team. They're going to, attribute that to you. It makes it really tough, and that's a big risk. So at GovDash, we separate this out. We make it part of our platform, and it is a big reason we have this unified workflow. All right. Capture is our next cloud. So we've gone through your data library. Then we've talked about, okay, within your data library, let's talk about your contracts data, because that's really important. It's a separate place that feeds the rest of it. And one of the places that it feeds is your Capture Cloud. This is a purpose-built solution for capture teams. It is one that feeds into proposals, but also feeds from, again, past performance, which is really critical. In the Capture Cloud, you can do many things. We match you with opportunities right now automatically from SAM and eBuy based on your past performance. We provide tailored pipeline management. We help you shred solicitations. We can do capabilities assessments and gap analysis in minutes. We facilitate guided capture and in-depth solutioning, and we can create automated gate reviews. Those are just a few of the things that we do. Our pipeline is extremely powerful. It's drag and drop. Your whole team can work within this. We have, the Kanban board as well as the list view, however your team works best. You're able to pull this up live anytime and everybody's on the same page. So no more Excel spreadsheets that get passed around by email, which is really important. Within the record, you're able to see all sorts of things that are critical. Your activity, your shreds, your capabilities, your documents. Again, I'm going to show this live here in just a minute, but this is just a high-level overview. We also take you through the different points of capture as you're approaching that RFP release. We want to make sure that we're getting smarter about opportunities. Capture for me has always been one of the grayest areas. When I, personally, as I've been doing capture, there's not as much of a black and white process, and it can be tough to ascertain where you're at. We make this tangible. So as you are approaching that RFP release, we want to see that more of these solutioning questions and intel questions are being answered, and you're doing gate reviews throughout. We have these capture and solutioning questions built in. These are based on best practices. You don't have to answer all of them, but these are things that the more that you answer, the better and stronger your proposal will be. So if your capture teams are stuck on what to do next, this gives them a great next step, and helps you guys facilitate conversations, understand where you're at. And this goes throughout the entire process and feeds into your gate reviews. In addition, we help you shred RFPs. So this is one thing we'll show you in just a little bit, but many times over, you are not able to really assess every RFP or opportunity that comes across your capture pipeline. GovDash makes this easy because we're doing it for you. We're shredding it. We are pulling out the critical statements. We're allowing your capture managers to do a cursory review and have a higher chance of catching things that might be like no-goes, right? Like, do you have a conflict of interest? Do you not have a security clearance that you need? Those things that waste a lot of time, so that you can put those resources towards other better fit opportunities. And then finally, we help you manage activities throughout GovDash. I'm actually going to be working directly from this activity sheet today when I demonstrate how to do the things that I do now, the way that I do them in GovDash, and the way that I help take 20 hours of work down to 45 minutes. All right. Excuse me, and I don't know if you guys can tell, I've got a terrible cold that my daughter gave me, so hopefully my voice stays. All right. Proposal Cloud. This is the last of 2 modules. And again, I just want to remind you guys, I know I'm going through these things fast. You're going to have so many more questions than answers. I want you to see what is possible. I want you to understand the reasoning behind it. And I want you to put your questions in QA. We've got the entire team ready. Even if you're not a GovDash customer, you'll have us to answer them. We'll meet with you after. We will make sure you get all the information you need. But just, keep your mind open. And as we go through, collect those questions and we'll get them answered. Proposal Cloud is probably the closest to what you may have seen in other tools on the market right now. There's a lot of proposal writing tools. Again, GovDash has that as part of our platform. For many of these tools, though, that is the like shining portion of their platform, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a time and place for that. I think it's important. But companies that have established teams, that have a lot of data, that are really serious about like winning and not just submitting a bunch of proposals, you have to do something about your data. You have to do something about capture and about past performance. And so in order for this proposal piece to be really effective and work well, you have to have those other pieces of the puzzle. Let's see here. So this is what we claim and what we can deliver on very well is we're able to get you to a solid pink team draft in hours, not days. Now, I'm going to caveat this because this is my high horse. One of the reasons that I joined GovDash is because when AI was first coming out on the scene, I had proposal team. I had a lot of companies calling me, wanting to demo, wanting me to, join their teams. And I kept hearing things like submit 100 proposals in a week, or like, never say no bid, or, submit a full proposal start to finish in an hour. And that just made me mad because I was like, you know what? That's the last thing that we need as proposal teams because that just feels like it's going to put more pressure on us. And like, if we're not winning the contracts, like who wants to submit 100 losing bids? Like show me something that's actually going to help me win and that's going to take pressure off of my shoulders and my team's shoulders so we can learn to be more strategic and we're not having to manage another tool just to put out 10 times more, outputs, right? I want to put out the right outputs. I want to spend time on what matters. That is what makes GovDash different in our proposal module is that we give you a tool. If you find something that drops and you didn't know about it before, you can absolutely run a great proposal, a better proposal than you could have run without GovDash because of the work that your company has done throughout getting your past performance together, your data library. It's going to be a better quality. But especially too, when you find those opportunities, you run capture, it's going to be a fantastic opportunity because you also have access to that data. We do solicitation shredding, so we provide you a full compliance matrix. Just every time you upload, we can do a capabilities assessment in minutes, which is huge. Those used to take me entire days. We can help you select past performance. We provide a blue team annotated outline and writing instructions step, which is the most important step that you can take, in my humble opinion. And we're going to do a webinar on this soon. We help you with win theme and solution development, key personnel management and assessment. We help you through the review process because we integrate with Microsoft Word. So your entire review process can be done on SharePoint like you're used to, even with your teammates, but you never lose access to GovDash. So we are with you every step of the way. This looks similar. You guys are probably starting to getting used to our interface right now. When you have, we run a proposal in GovDash, we give you an entire system to manage it. We start with the overview of the opportunity, your solicitation package. We're going to give you an outline. We're going to run an outline for you, shred the opportunity ourselves. We're going to give you tools to check that outline to make sure that it's correct, or if you want to edit it and make something different, that's fine. We allow you to give us writing plan instructions. This is like a blue team annotated outline where you're writing in bullet points, and then GovDash takes those strategic bullet points and we turn them into strong narrative. We also help you see everywhere that we cited something, right? If we made a claim, we're going to help you verify it and show you exactly where we got it within the database. We take that seriously. We help you manage your past performances. So all the requirements, this, required a minimum of 1, maximum of 5. Let me show you which past performances are most aligned. We also help you adjudicate and manage key personnel throughout the process and lots more. I could talk about Proposal Cloud for a million years, and we probably will. And I am really excited to do that webinar because there's a lot more to come. But again, as you guys have questions, write them down, put them in QA, and we will meet with you after one-on-one and give you time to answer all of them. We'll take you through the platform and answer all of your questions then as well. I see a question from Ron. That's a really great question, so I'm going to answer this one here. Should we avoid uploading prior proposals since GovDash may interpret statements as past performance or experience that we don't have? No. So that's the great thing about GovDash is the reason we have your contract cloud is because we recognize that is a risk when you have AI, right? It's the same kind of risk that you'd have with a person who's writing. If they don't have the background and understanding of your past performance, they could read past proposals and assume that it's your past performance. You don't have to avoid uploading those to your data library. As long as you make sure that your contract cloud is solid and it has your past performance there. We're going to first pull from your contract cloud as your source of truth for past performance. And then we will pull from everything else to substantiate that or to add some context or help with your writing. The one caveat I will say is that when you set up your contract cloud, right, and you give GovDash capture, you answer minimum solutioning questions, you give it a couple bullet points in the annotated outline, the need for reusing boilerplate or past proposals really gets driven down. And that is because we are pulling from your past performance, the solution that was done for this customer, right? The instructions you're giving it based on your understanding of this customer. So we can write really great narrative without referencing your past proposals. And you can always upload them if there's sections that you really like as a reference point to the actual proposal themselves. So there's lots of ways to go around about it, but just to answer your question, you don't need to worry about that because we have our contract cloud and that's what we pull from first. Great. All right, and then this is my favorite part of GovDash. So this is the last piece, and then I'm going to get you guys in the product, and I'll show you how I do some of my favorite actions. So Dash, you may have seen our, robot here. We love him. He is representative of our chat assistant, and our chat assistant will seriously change the way you work. Dash is connected to everything we've talked about today: data library, capture, contract, and proposal. Very flexible way to use GovDash, built in Word, Microsoft Word, and the GovDash app, connected to all your data, also understands where you are within GovDash, and it's connected to the web so that you can search on the web. We download in your template when you are downloading an opportunity from GovDash or a proposal. It's going to have your styles. You don't have to do any copying and pasting. Because your save styles are applied. It's compatible with SharePoint, supports collaborative work with multiple users in SharePoint. That means your partners can collaborate in SharePoint, but only your team has access to the Word Assistant. And that Word Assistant is going to be your link to all of your data, your past performance, end to end, right? And so that is really critical because it's going to help you recover during reviews when you're writing all of that so much faster and connected to your data. And in the web app, we give you flexibility for any task anywhere in GovDash. So you can use it to answer questions about your data, like who do we have on staff with CDC experience? You can use it to generate long form content in your template, like create a capability statement aligned to the task areas of this opportunity, or to perform research via the web. How do these requirements align with CDC strategic plan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The use cases are pretty much endless. And that is where I'm going to end our first part of our session today. So I hope you guys had an understanding of what GovDash can do and how it's different, and the difference between purchasing a chat tool, right, that helps members of your team, as opposed to investing in a system that becomes a member of your team and is supporting your ecosystem, right, as a company. I'm going to show you some of my favorite things to do in GovDash. Before I do that, though, I want to pause. Sam, do we have any questions that you want me to address? All right, cool. All right, let me go ahead and get to GovDash. You guys should be able to see GovDash on my screen. Is that correct? All right, perfect. Make this a little bit bigger. So I showed you guys some screenshots, right, of GovDash, and I'm going to show you the actual system. When I so Nishi, that's a great question. I will let our ProTeam answer that, but there's a great answer for this. So we'll share that with everybody after. I'm going to go ahead and go over to our Capture Cloud, because this is where I was working previously. Let's open up an opportunity. I showed you guys this activity section. This is where we manage tasks, just one of the areas in GovDash. These are the tasks that I would typically have on my list of things to do when I was running Capture or preparing for a proposal. These are things that would take me like half a week often. And now I'm able to do them in one session, sitting down. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that. The first is a compliance matrix. If you've ever done a compliance matrix before, you know how terrible it is. So it is where you basically piece by piece, copy and paste requirements from an RFP document into an Excel document, and it becomes a really critical tool for checking to make sure that you have hit all of the compliance requirements. We give you a few ways to do this. So when you upload a document to GovDash, we are going to shred it ourselves and pull it into a format that you can work within, right? We are also going to allow you to see proposal preparation instructions, task area requirements, evaluation criteria, shall, will, must statements. Let me go here to all right, there we go. So you're able to see this as you're going through the document, which is critical, right? This is going to help, especially in a capture situation, your team quickly view and see what critical elements they want to consider. It can help you pull out any like gotcha requirements that could preclude you from bidding. The other cool thing about this, though, is not only do we do that level of shredding at the capture phase, we also do it at the proposal phase, right? And it's going to actually give you a high level compliance matrix package. And I have one generated here, so I'll pull it up for you guys to see. This is generated automatically whenever you upload an opportunity to GovDash, either in capture or in proposal. Your team has a full compliance matrix that you did not have to copy and paste. This is 8 hours in and of itself, time saved at a minimum. We will do this for every single document. Your team can then utilize this to get to check compliance. You can send it to a partner. And it's really going to help you make sure at the end of the day, like this is a to-do list, but it turns into a did we do this list. And it can take a lot of time to create. So this is one of my first ways that I save a ton of time with GovDash, and it's something you can do right away. All right. The second thing, so let's go on back to our Capture Cloud. The second thing that I do, okay, we're actually going to complete this because we did that. So that took no time at all. It literally will take 5 minutes. You upload it. Let's go ahead and do a gap analysis. So we're going to start with this one next, capabilities gap analysis. This is the other thing that takes forever. If you've ever had a list of task areas in front of you and your boss says, okay, I want you now to fill this out and tell us where we've done this, what we've done, where our gaps are, that can take forever. So the way that we help you out here is we actually give you this automatically. So I'm going to start this process so you guys can see how easy it is. So I'm going to press generate capabilities matrix. You can generate on every single past performance contract in your inventory if you want, or you can select a few of them. So I'm going to select a couple. I have not verified these to see how how much relevancy there is. So we'll see how we do this in a real world situation. So we're going to allow this to run as we go throughout the rest of our work. So this is in progress. We'll come back and check on this here in a little bit. Let's do an identification of potential primes. Okay, so this is one area where we can use Dash. Dash is over here in the right-hand corner. I'm going to open this up. Dash has context for what you do. It also has connection to the web. So I'm going to analyze web search, and I'm going to say, please search the web and identify companies that would be good primes for this opportunity and why. Okay, you can use plain language there. You can even have typos. So you can see what it's doing. It's searching the internet. It's looking at the RFP and the task areas. It's going to show you where it's going. And this is a very, very powerful tool because, yes, we can Google search for this, but having a research partner that has context for her, for the opportunity itself, and it's able to do that very quickly, we are able to help you do research so much faster than I would be able to do myself. So this is a really great starting point. You can see that it's going to give you 3 lists here. This is almost like a capture analyst, right? And I actually worked on this contract, so I know this one really well. And I know this customer, and these are absolutely fantastic potential primes. So you can see here, this is going to really help you. It's going to show you your sources, right? So you can double check behind it, do additional research, but this is extremely powerful, and it's something that usually would take a lot of time. You now have this is the powers at your fingertips, so you can take this, build on it, or you can take it as is, and it can be a starting place. Now you can add these people to your call plan. Just super helpful. All right. Let's see here. The next one is your tailored capability statement. Okay, so we're gonna, let me actually check on our capabilities matrix before we do that. Okay, so it's still working, so we will come back to that in a second. Let's do a tailored capability statement. So the capabilities gap analysis, we tailor capability statement. Another thing that you can do, let's close out of this, we'll do another one. Now that we know that ASRC would be a fantastic prime, let's say we want to pitch ourselves to ASRC as a subcontractor. So please write a detailed capabilities statement that covers our capabilities to carry out the work on this contract or on this opportunity. Okay, we're going to just put that in there. One thing that GovDash does is not just a chatbot, it also generates long form content. So if you give it a request that you think it thinks would be better answered in like a Word document format, it's going to come back with some questions. What specific capabilities should be highlighted? All task areas, ASRC, who is a potential prime, standard formatting. Okay. We're just going to put that in there. We're going to start it. And now GovDash is generating this long form content. It'll be done here in a second. We'll let it work. Let me go and check on our capabilities while it's working. Perfect. I'm going to pull this over just a bit. Awesome. So as you guys can see on my screen, we have started to look at the task areas that are pulled from this particular opportunity, and now it is assessing our past performance. So we're at the pulling out the task area phase, and it's going to be assessing our past performance. We'll come back to that and check on it here again. There's a lot of task areas, but I think we're at like 4 minutes that this has been running. So already this is moving pretty quickly. All right, let's check here. Just give this another minute. Right, and a couple of notes about our GovDash assistant while we're waiting on this. This is available anywhere within GovDash. It is really very handy tool. It is going to not only help you answer questions about opportunities, but it's going to help you answer questions about the data in your data library, the contracts in your contract cloud, all sorts of things like that. You can use this for searching the web. You can do something called deep research, which again is going to be this long form content. You can also use it to help you write, understand GovDash is going to be your question and answer help guide. We've got suggested prompts here. So if you need some suggestions for how to work, it's available there as well. So it's a really, really versatile tool. In addition to that, I'll show you here in a second, we allow you to edit in Canvas, which means if you like where it was going and the direction it was going, you can start there and edit it right within your web app. And then you'll see here in a second, once this finishes running, that you can also download it into your company's template. And while we're waiting on here, we will show you this now. So this is our capability statement. Again, you can see that it has assessed our capabilities. Unfortunately, I'm not a great match for a lot of these, but it's better to know than not know. So let's go ahead and view explanation. What you're going to see here is that I am a high match for process to transition data and records at contract end, which is great because this is for GovDash and this is what we do. So that's pretty accurate. Let's go ahead and look at the explanation. The reason it said we had a high match here is because we have past performance demonstrating deployment and management of a secure cloud-based platform. It's going to go through this. So when you guys are doing this, it's going to do the exact same thing. And it's going to give you a really high level, good view and also deep dive view of where you have experience in each of these task areas, where you have gaps. One of my favorite ways to use this is when I am looking for subject matter experts to write and help me write on a contract or help me solution. This allows me to see what contracts I may have individuals on that I didn't realize had expertise in certain areas. Even if I don't use this contract as past performance, I'm going to know that I can go to those folks for subject matter expertise. All right. Great. And now we are done here. So I'm going to open this up in our canvas. All right. Oops, sorry, I went to the wrong one. Okay. So I'm going to open this up in our canvas. You can see that it is written as a detailed capabilities statement here that is tailored to the requirements of the RFP. This looks like a great start to me, but it's, again, a pink team draft. So what I'm going to do is export it to Word. I just uploaded this template, so let me make sure that this is going to work for us. Perfect. Let's go ahead and download that. Ooh. Sorry, I cut it out too soon. Let me see here. I give just a second, it's pulling up. Okay. So this is a version of the document that is pulled over into GovDash. Now, normally this would look a lot better. Unfortunately, it didn't load my template. We put a new one in there, so I apologize, but we'll give you guys a recording of what the template looks like. What I wanted to show you guys here is that you're able to do everything that you can do in the web app right within Microsoft Word. So let's say that I wanted to turn this into a table. I can select this text and GovDash is going to be here. I can say convert to table. It's going to convert that to a table for me. I'm able to insert that here, right? The other thing that I can do is if I wanted to substantiate claims more, so let's say we made some claims here that were not verified. Let's see, this looks like a pretty generic statement. I can also say, put this in active voice, shorten or substantiate. It's going to now look in our data library and our contract cloud to look for examples and metrics of where we've done this in the past. And it's going to rewrite this for us and turn this into something with metrics. So you can see here, it took this and now it's actually adding metrics that we have within our contract cloud. And it's going to like over 100 organizations, which is true. You can see all of your references here. So these things are super important and critical, and they help you make a stronger response. You can.
Hey, Meryl, quick interruption here. We can't see the document. Would you be able to adjust your screen so we could see?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Hold on. Man, I was showing some cool stuff there. So sorry about that, guys.
And time is flying by. We have just about 1 minute left, so we might want to wrap things up.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and show you guys real quick. There, you should be able to see it. So what is important to see here, though, is that this is the Dash interface right on the right-hand side. So it's very similar to what you see in the web interface. You can do anything that you do in the web that we showed you guys here within your document, but you can actually do it while interacting with your document within your document's template, your company's template. Your teammates can be within there. So it's all really, really helpful within your normal workflow. With that, I think I showed you guys probably about 15 hours of work in 10 minutes, but this is just the beginning. So I have many, many more of these tips and tricks, as does the rest of our pro team. So we will do this again. Again, though, please let us know. I know we have a lot of questions come through. We will reach out and answer all of them and provide you with a consolidated QA document. But I hope this helped answer some questions or actually cause more questions, right? And that we can help answer for you and that you saw the art of what's possible. Thank you, everybody.